right. It is Andrew Heaney on the mound for the Pirates today. They have a 1.25 ERA, 4.48. Sorry, it's the other way around. 1.25 whip, 4.48 ERA with him on the mound. -5 pitching run value. Pretty much everything below average on this list, but he's better at getting ground balls and preventing hard hit baseballs than he is at striking hitters out. But he does have a pretty low walk rate, so it's just going to be have a long at bat, then make good contact. So look for your pitch. It's kind of the standard approach that this team's had all year, so that's a good matchup for the Cardinals. It's what they're used to. And we'll take a look at the lineups now. It's going to be Donovan in left field today with Gorman playing at third base. Arenado is going to be the DH. And let's see. All right, there we go. So with Gorman at third, Arenado's the DH today. Sajacy gets the start at second base because Mason Wynn holds it down at short. And it'll be Pedro Pajes behind the plate with Victor Scott in center, Burleson in right, and Donovan in left, as I already mentioned. For the Pirates, it is Horwitz at first base, Gonzalez at second, Hayes at third, with Kiner Falefa at short, Bart behind the plate at catcher. And in the outfield, it is Reynolds in right, Cruz in center, and Pham in left. Andrew Heaney goes about 5.5 innings per start. He has 6 quality starts out of 16 starts this season, but a pretty low ground ball rate. Uses the fastball. All of these pitches at least 10%. Fastball about half the time, and then changeup, slider, sinker, and curveball. So a very standard mix from Heaney. So let's see if the Cardinals can get to him. It's going to start out with Brendan Donovan. He's hitting .297 on the year with a .793 OPS. And Nootbaar is out once again due to a rib injury. That's why Sajacy's getting the start at second base, and they kind of moved everybody around. Arenado wanting to get an extra day off as well. That's why he is playing DH with Gorman at third. The Cardinals are going to have to find strange ways to get Gorman's bat into the lineup, and that is another reason you'll see him moving around the infield, as he is getting hot for the Redbirds, and they want to keep him in the lineup. All right, we are underway. The first pitch to Donovan. He is upstairs, 1-0 from Andrew Heaney. So already ahead in the count, looking to reach base. Here's the 1-0. Low and in, did he go? No, he didn't. 2-0 now on Donovan. A little bit of a rain delay today. I'm going to see if I can line this up. There we go. The 2-0 does catch the outside corner, but doesn't get the call with the fastball. 3-0 on Donovan. The 3-0 pitch from Heaney. That one's in there. Fastball at the top of the zone. 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. Fouled back. 3-2 now on Donovan. Should work. There we go. Mason Wynn is waiting on deck. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled back, and we'll do it again. So Donovan starting out with exactly the type of at-bat you're looking for. Nice long at-bat against Heaney, although he did go ahead 3-0 at the beginning. Trying to work a long at-bat and reach base however you can. That's the approach against Heaney. And we'll see if the Cardinals can continue to do it. The 3-2 pitch to Brendan Donovan. He is up and in, and that is ball 4. So Donovan draws a leadoff walk to start the game, and the Cardinals have a man on with nobody out for Mason Wynn. Wynn hitting .263 this season with a .720 OPS. That is above league average. Also has 7 home runs and has been great since moving into that 2 spot about halfway through the season. First pitch from Heaney to Mason Wynn. with Donovan on first. Swing and a miss on a fastball at the top of the zone. It's 0-1. Wynn does have 30 runs batted in this season, so we'll see if he could reach, maybe hit an extra base hit here and bring Donovan around. The 0-1 to Mason Wynn. Heaney delivers, and it is just inside 1-1. So it's a little bit of a constricted zone on that right side of the zone, which is in on Mason Wynn's hands. That part of the zone is not being called a strike, so it is 1-1 now. The third pitch to Mason Wynn. He is low and in with the slider, 2-1. So Wynn now ahead in the count, with Donovan already waiting on first. Heaney at 10 pitches. The 2-1 to Mason Wynn. Right down the middle, driven up the middle, but perfectly played by Gonzalez. He steps on second and records the out at first as well for a double play. So an unfortunate location for that hard hit ground ball by Wynn. And there are now 2 down with nobody on for Alec Burleson. First pitch from Heaney to Burleson. He is outside 1-0. Burleson hitting .298 this year with an .804 OPS. Does have 10 homers in 73 games. He's accumulated 1 win above replacement. The 1-0 is low with the curveball, 2-0. Burleson's played a little bit of outfield, really a good amount of outfield since Walker's injury, but some DH and some first base as well. As the 2-0 is fouled off, that was a sinker right down the middle. It's 2-1. In the month of June, Burleson is hitting .330. And this is the last day of June. .330 with 6 homers, 21 runs batted in. The 2-1 pitch. Curveball catches the lower inside corner, 2-2. That was a great pitch from Heaney. And he has settled in nicely after a rough start to the ball game. The 2-2 to Burleson. Swing and a miss on a sinker low and in, and down goes Burleson. It takes just 3 hitters. We go to the bottom of the first. It is scoreless in Pittsburgh. So let's take a quick look at what Fedde has been up to this year. -1 pitching run value, 4.11 ERA with a 1.36 whip. Definitely not as great as he was last year. Had a really rough start his last outing. Maybe we can get a game log. Is that something they have? Yeah. Against the Cubs, 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. 2 walks, just 2 strikeouts. That is getting absolutely crushed. His season ERA went from a 3.54 to a 4.11 just in that game. Brings him to negative pitching value. The walk rate is pretty high. Not a lot going his way this year. That being said, he can prevent barrels, get ground balls, and prevent walks on a good day. So hopefully he can attack the zone, let the defense behind him help him out. And that will make the difference in this one. Let's see. We do have his history against this lineup. Only a couple of hitters have had very much success. It's going to be Nick Gonzalez and O'Neill Cruz. The rest of the order is in the 600s or lower in OPS. All right, the game is going to be back in just a moment. It's cool seeing Andrew McCutchen still going at it. Former MVP. Here we go. Fedde uses 37% sinkers, 27% cutters, 26% sweepers, and 11% changeups. First pitch to Horwitz. He is up and in with the sinker, 1-0. So Fedde misses with his first pitch. It's going to be a little bit of a tight zone over the course of this game. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right down the middle, driven out to right center field. That ball is deep and gone. Second pitch of the ball game is driven out of the park by Spencer Horwitz for a solo shot. And Erick Fedde has a rough start. It is 1-0 Pittsburgh. 106.7 off the bat for a 408-foot bomb. That is what you want out of your first baseman. This was just a sinker right down the middle at 95. Curved right into the barrel of Horwitz as he drove that over the head of Burleson. So nobody on, nobody out. 1-0 lead for the Pirates. Here is the first pitch to Andrew McCutchen. Just upstairs with the sinker, 1-0. McCutchen hitting .266 this season with a .749 OPS. As he drives one out to left field, that one is going to get into the corner. Donovan plays it on a hop, throws it in softly, and it's an easy stand-up double for McCutchen. So Fedde having a very rough start to this ball game. It is 1-0 Pirates. McCutchen is on second, and that brings up Brian Reynolds. Cardinals going with maybe a less athletic corner outfield today, which hopefully doesn't bite them too hard. With Burleson in right and Donovan in left. Burleson's looked great in the outfield over the last couple days, but it can only last so long when you just don't have the range that other outfielders have. Here's the pitch to Reynolds. It's grounded over to the right side and through for a base hit. Burleson's going to play that one off the ground, and they're going to hold McCutchen at third to play it safe. So runners at the corners with nobody out in the first. And that's going to bring up Nick Gonzalez. Let's see what Reynolds did here. Looks like it was the cutter. Middle top of the zone, just pulled it right through the hole on the right side of the infield. Nothing the Cardinals defense could do about that. Just got to find a little bit better pitch location from Fedde. So runners at the corners. Nobody out. Pirates already lead 1-0. First pitch from Fedde to Gonzalez is fouled back. Oh and 1 on Gonzalez. He's hitting .300 this year with an .825 OPS, one of their better players. Only a 23-game sample, though. He missed some time with injury. 3 homers in 23 games, so a pretty good home run rate as well. The 0-1 pitch from Fedde to Gonzalez. Driven back to the mound, he makes the catch, throws it back to first for a double play. So Fedde fields his position there, and now there are 2 down with McCutchen on third for O'Neal Cruz. A huge defensive play for Fedde. That was just a line shot right back at him, and he had the reaction time to make the catch. That's awesome. So 2 outs now with McCutchen on third. O'Neal Cruz stepping to the plate. He's hitting just .210, but has a .740 OPS. The first pitch is outside with the sweeper, 1-0. Cruz does have 15 homers on the year, 35 runs driven in, and gets the chance with McCutchen on third here. The 1-0 pitch from Fedde is outside, 2-0. Cardinals are playing Cruz to pull, but the 2-0 pitch gets the call with the cutter on the outside corner, 2-1. Playing him to pull, but I was going to say Fedde is behind in the count. We'll see if maybe they're pitching around him a little bit with Ke'Bryan Hayes on deck. But we will see. The 2-1 is chopped over to the shift. Good play by Sajaci, and they get him by a step. Great job by the Cardinal defense, especially Fedde with that reaction. And the Pirates lead 1-0, but it could have been much worse. We go to the second. All right, so that's going to bring up Wilson Contreras, so that is awesome. Contreras 762 OPS. They have him finally a little bit above average in these numbers. He's still climbing, getting the walk rate up above average pretty soon. He's been really, really hot since that terrible start to the year. Can we get... Yeah, we do have game logs of the stats, so I kind of just want to show what I'm talking about. He had zeros for the first 5 games of the year, and it didn't climb very quickly. OPS was still sub 500. I mean, you can see it's just straight up from the bottom. Mellowed out a little bit at mid 700s. Had a rough end to April as well, and then he picked it up. So since then, that's when it's been great. Here's the month of June. 888 OPS for Contreras. 263 average, 516 slug. That's the key. He has been crushing the ball in June. So he'll be due up first when we come back. And we can look at how the Cardinals lineup has done against Heaney in the past. Donovan's been good. He already drew a walk, so that holds up. Contreras has also been good, so watch out for that. 1 for 3. It looks like that was probably an extra base hit. Alrighty. Yeah, that one hit against Heaney was a double by Contreras, so hopefully he can continue that trend and get another one. It'll be Contreras, Arenado, and Gorman against Heaney, trailing 1-0. The first pitch. Right down the middle, driven in the air to left field, but did not get it. He popped it up just a little too much. It will be caught at the warning track by Tommy Pham for out number 1. So Contreras just got under that one. That's going to bring up Nolan Arenado. Arenado playing DH today, wanted to get him off his legs after stumbling a little bit in the game the other day. I guess that was yesterday. So he is playing DH with Gorman at third. First pitch to Arenado. Right down the middle with the fastball, 0-1. The 0-1 from Heaney to Arenado. He is up and in, doesn't get the call with the fastball inside, as I was saying. That inside part of the zone has been a little constricted. It is 1-1. Arenado does have 10 homers on the year with a 708 OPS, as the 1-1 is fouled the other way. Reached out and poked a changeup out of the zone there. It's 1-2. Arenado does have 41 runs batted in, puts him in the top 3 in the team. The 1-2 pitch is driven in the air to right center. The right fielder Reynolds is going to make that grab for out number 2. So after the leadoff walk, Heaney has been fantastic for the Pirates. We'll see if Gorman can break that up here, as he has gotten the start at third base. Cardinals have been putting Arenado and Gorman next to each other, the little Nolan duo, for a few games in a row now. So we'll see if the second Nolan does better than the first. First pitch to Gorman. Right down the middle with the fastball for strike 1. It is 0-1. Gorman has 7 homers, a lot of those coming in the last couple weeks. The 0-1 pitch. Missed upstairs with the fastball, 1-1. Hit one in the series against the Guardians, hit one against the Cubs as well. Maybe a couple. The 1-1 pitch to Gorman. Fastball upstairs, 2-1. Didn't go around there. Gorman really earning his spot in the lineup recently. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball down the middle, fouled off the other way. It's 2-2. In yesterday's game, Gorman crushed a hanging sweeper early in the game, and that gave the Cardinals a lead that would stand up for the rest of the ball game as they shut out the Guardians. They said he was one of the first to wake up as he hit the first homer of the game. The 2-2 pitch is upstairs, 3-2. Thomas Sajaci getting the start at second base. He is on deck. So watch out for him. Here's the 3-2 to Gorman. Fastball inside, fouled off his foot. We'll do it again. Gorman does not hit well with a full count, but he does walk a lot in these counts. 48.5% walk rate, but he's 1 for 17 with a full count. The 3-2 pitch, right down the middle, fouled back again. So that means the two-strike approach is working out pretty well for Gorman. Just continue to foul the ball off, and eventually they won't be able to put it in the zone. Nobody can be consistent forever. The 29th pitch of the day for Heaney, the 3-2 to Gorman. Swing and a miss on a fastball, middle. And down goes Gorman. We go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0 Pirates. So Ke'Bryan Hayes, we'll talk for a second about his struggles. He's having a pretty bad season as a hitter. Still a great defensive third baseman. 11 outs above average, 99th percentile in that category. Can steal some bases, has 9 stolen bases. He's on track for a career high in that stat. But if you look at the hitting, expected batting average, not too bad. Hits the ball pretty hard. It doesn't strike out too much, but doesn't walk enough. And the OPS sitting at 602. It was 573 last season as well. And that puts him in 2nd percentile for batting run value. So that is very, very low. Let's see, barrel rate. What is really hurting him? I guess it's expected slug. So is it launch angle? It is. His launch angle is really, really bad. The expected slug and the launch angle tend to go together along with barrel rate because obviously expected slug is calculated using your launch angle. Same thing with barrel rate. So if you have a bad launch angle, it's going to hurt your chances of getting extra base hits, which happened last season as well. 30% of the time he's in the launch angle sweet spot. This year, 28.1% of the time. The other hitters due up, Pham, Joey Bart. We can take a look at Bart. Bart playing catcher, 649 OPS. Last season, he had about the same sample, a little bit bigger, and he was a positive hitter. So watch out for Bart. Had a pretty good walk rate last year, but the strikeout rate was pretty high, and that's a bad indicator. It's bringing the numbers down once again this season. Walk rate has improved. Launch angle is actually still really good, but he's not hitting the ball super hard, so that'll hurt that slug as well. So the strikeout rate, pulling it down along with the exit velocity. The launch angle's way better though, so I would say Bart is a candidate to get a little bit better over the course of the rest of the season. So hopefully that doesn't start today. It's 2-0 on Hayes. My bad, I missed a couple pitches. Thinking about Bart's swing path. All right, the 2-0. Missed inside with the cutter. That's the part of the zone not getting the call. It is 3-0 on Ke'Bryan Hayes. So Fedde is struggling to find the zone, and I'm a little bit behind. Here's the 3-0 to Hayes. Right down the middle for a strike, 3-1. And then the 3-1 is popped up. Playable at first base for Contreras. He'll make the catch for out number 1. So Hayes goes down. It's going to bring up Tommy Pham with nobody on and 1 out in the bottom of the second. First pitch to Pham is low with the sweeper, 1-0. Pham hitting .230 this season with a .604 OPS, has 2 homers in 56 games. Puts him at -0.4 WAR accumulated, which is obviously not where you want to be. Puts him below replacement level. But he would still be maybe a guy that a team might pick up at the deadline just for a bat off the bench. The 1-1 pitch to Pham. Ground ball over the head of Fedde, but Saggese had him played perfectly for out number 2. So a good play by Saggese to field that one. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Joey Bart will step up to the plate. Based on his contact numbers, the only real problem is he strikes out too much. Hasn't hit the ball super hard this year, but the same contact produced better results last season, so he's a candidate to improve, in my opinion. So watch out a little bit for Bart. '20th pitch of the day for Fedde. Strike 1 in the upper inside corner with the cutter. That one just got inside enough. Well, I guess out over the plate enough to get the call from the umpire. The 0-1 to Bart. Sinker caught the outside corner that time. It's 0-2. A couple great pitches from Fedde. Spotting them up. And now Bart is down in the count. He does strike out a lot. The 0-2 pitch. Reaches out and pokes this one into center field. Victor Scott is there, makes the grab, and we go to the third. It is 1-0 Pirates after a run in the first. Saggese, Pages, and Scott are due up. All right, so Saggese 680 OPS. It's pretty good, but they still have a -1 batting run value. Isn't slugging a whole lot. Has just that 1 homer in Fenway that was hit when the Red Sox were up by like 10 runs. But hits the ball pretty hard. The launch angle's pulling him down. Strikes out a lot. Almost never walks. Feels like he's up because other people are down right now, but you get him into the lineup. He's only 23 years old. He'll continue to develop. He does hit at the minor league level, so eventually he can come up. Kind of has that Mason Wynn path going on right now, where might struggle a little bit at the beginning, but can become a league average hitter, and that is what you need. Especially with a pretty good sprint speed at 28.5 feet per second. And pretty good defense with 1 out above average. Then you have Pages, the defensive catcher, and Victor Scott. So, I mean, this kind of shows you what your defense can do for you. Victor Scott, also Argo the Rapper, has 10 outs above average, 98th percentile as a fielder, 99th percentile as a base runner with 30.1 feet per second. And the launch angle is good, so that helps out all of the rest of these stats. Gives him a 669 OPS, could be so much worse. Also draws walks, which helps out with the approach of the whole team. Fits the philosophy and works the pitchers for a lot of pitches. So that's a big thing for Victor Scott. The game is back. Here we go. Thomas Saggese versus Andrew Heaney. Cardinals have no hits so far in this game. First pitch to Saggese is low and in with the curveball, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch from Heaney. Swing and a miss with the changeup at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. One pitch. Grounded off his ankle. 1-2. So we'll see if Saggese can settle back in. Looks like that one hurt a little bit, but he's just going to try to walk it off. In 19 games this year, Saggese has a 680 OPS and just 1 home run. But he has accumulated 0.2 WAR, playing some good defense. And hitting at about an average level off the bench. All right, so JC ready to dig back in. Nobody on, nobody out in the third. The Cardinals trail 1-0. Andrew Heaney on the mound, about to throw his 33rd pitch. And it's the 1-2 to Sajacy. Ground ball over to third base. Ke'Bryan Hayes is there. Ooh, looks like they got him. They call him out. I might want another look at that play, but I think they just got Sajacy for out number 1. Sajacy, a pretty quick runner, but just not quick enough to beat out Hayes there. 1 out with nobody on. Here comes Pedro Pajes. He is a great defensive catcher. Caught that Sonny Gray start the other day. As here's the first pitch to Pajes. Upstairs 1-0. Pajes has 6 homers in 64 games this year. 24 runs batted in. As here's the 1-0 pitch from Heaney. Sinker at the top of the zone, fouled off, 1-1. Pajes, the 8th hitter in the order. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back, 1-2. He's trying to reach base ahead of Victor Scott, and then the top of the order. Cardinals have done a pretty good job of fouling off pitches against Heaney, but not a lot of pitches to drive have been taken advantage of, which you need to do over the course of this game. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off again, still 1-2. At this rate, they could probably get Heaney out of the game by the end of the 6th, but it's a lot more valuable to drive the ball. The 1-2 pitch is fouled back again. Here's some good approach from Pedro Pajes. Fouling pitches off. Looking for his pitch to hit. Pajes just hitting .221 this year, but .634 OPS, which isn't too far below average. Especially when you play defense like him. The 1-2 pitch. Caught the bottom of the zone with the slider, and that is strike 3. So down goes Pajes. And the Cardinals are still looking for their first hit as we have the 9-hitter Victor Scott step to the plate. That was a great pitch by Heaney there. The slider stayed up, caught the bottom of the zone. So this will be the 40th pitch of Heaney's day, the first one to Victor Scott, the second, as he grounds one just foul. It is 0-1. Scott, in his 79th game of the season, has 4 homers this year, 28 RBIs. Squares around, bunts one, foul. So it is now 0-2 on Victor Scott. A lot of attempted bunts by the Cardinals, especially at the bottom of the order with Scott. Seems like that worked for a little while at the beginning of the year, but since then, they've gone foul so often. Seems like you're wasting a strike. You need to get better at bunting if you're going to do it that often. As Scott takes a curveball above the zone, it's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Victor Scott II. Swing and a miss on a curveball low and away. Down goes Scott. And we go to the bottom of the third. It is still 1-0 Pirates. So it's going to be an IKF due up first for them. We've already seen him earlier this year. 667 OPS, -5 batting run value. Doesn't strike out a lot, but doesn't walk a lot either. And as you can see, launch angle's not good. Exit velocity is even worse. Brings almost everything down. Squares up the ball, and somehow that brings his expected batting average to an above average stat. From not striking out, that's what's doing it for him. You don't strike out, that can't pull down your batting average. So then any form of hitting that results in like a positive chance to reach base. So like a bloop to right field has a high expected batting average. That's what's giving him that stat, because it's not OPS that is affected, it is just batting average. So if you strike out a very little amount, you're going to have an expected batting average that's pretty high regardless of your contact quality. Even if you have a low walk rate, because that doesn't affect batting average whatsoever. So that's what's going on with IKF. And then it'll be Horwitz at the top of the order. Horwitz earned a look, as he already homered in this game. So let's see how he's been doing this season. He had a 790 OPS last year, 700 so far this year. He's getting it going. It's a pretty nice season last year, and he seems to be heating up. I mean, low walk rate. Sorry. High walk rate, low strikeout rate, good expected slug, good barrel rate, great launch angle. That'll do it for you. And now he has an even better launch angle. So that, yeah, his numbers are climbing up. His strikeout rate needs to come back down for this season. I'm sure he's working on that. All right, we are back. First two pitches to IKF. The second one is popped into right field. Alec Burleson ranges over and makes the grab for out number 1. So Fedde missed with the first pitch. Second one was popped to right field. That's going to bring up Spencer Horwitz at the top of the Pirates order. First pitch was a changeup, missed way outside. It's 1-0. Horwitz homered earlier in the game. His solo homer is the only run of the ball game so far. As Fedde misses up and in with the cutter, it's 2-0. Two-0 pitch now from Fedde. Caught the outside corner with the cutter. That is one that the umpire has not been giving all day. And that one was actually further out than the rest and got the call. So that's a little inconsistent. The 2-1 is outside with the sinker. 3-1 now on Horwitz. So Fedde appears to be pitching around Horwitz after the early homer. You can't blame him too much. The 3-1 pitch. Low and in, pulled foul. It's 3-2. So 1 out, nobody on. Spencer Horwitz at the plate. Full count with Erick Fedde on the mound. Fedde getting set. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Horwitz. Ground ball. Easy play at second. Sajaci ranges over and makes the play for out number 2. So a good comeback in that at-bat by Fedde. He is now at 30 pitches on the day. Ended up just attacking the center of the zone, getting the chopper over to second base. Can't ask for anything better than that. Especially with this defense behind you. MLB leading outs above average defense here. As here's the first pitch to Andrew McCutchen. Missed upstairs with the sinker. It's 1-0. McCutchen had a double back in that first inning. But he was left stranded at third base. The 1-0 pitch is outside 2-0. McCutchen was the league MVP in 2013 for the NL. And he's back with his home Pirates. From back at that time, here's the 2-0 from Fedde. Missed downstairs with the cutter. It's 3-0. So McCutchen is threatening to reach for the second time in the ball game, with Brian Reynolds waiting on deck. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on a sinker that would have been outside, but McCutchen chased. So it is 3-1. The 3-1 now from Fedde to McCutchen. Up and in. That one doesn't get the call, and that is ball 4. So the ump returned to his constricted zone on the inside part of the plate to righties. And with 1 man on and 2 outs, that brings up Brian Reynolds. Reynolds is 1 for 1 today. 709 OPS on the year with a 241 batting average. He is a switch hitter, batting from the left side against the righty Erick Fedde. First pitch to Reynolds. Up and in, fouled away, 0-1. Reynolds does have 10 homers on the year, as the Pirates look to extend a 1-0 lead, as Fedde looks to shut the door. McCutcheon used to be a real big threat to steal. I don't know if he would still take a chance like that. The 0-1 is grounded over to first base. It is a fair ball, and Contreras makes the play for out number 3. So we will go to the 4th. It is still 1-0. After the Horwitz home run in the 1st, the Pirates lead the Cardinals 1-0. It's going to be Donovan, Wynn, and Burleson. So let's take a look at Burleson. He's been improving. On the stat sheet, at the very least. The approach is finally working out for him. I believe he's had a pretty high expected contact numbers all year. Last season. Here you go. It's the exact same. So Burleson, good contact hitter over the course of his career, and he's doing his very best this season. An 804 OPS so far. Very low strikeout rate last season. Did the walk rate improve? No, it didn't. The launch angle actually got worse this year. So that is something to watch out for, but the exit velocity has improved. Does he have a negative outs above average last year? Yeah. He was at -8. Now he's at just -1. That's a huge improvement. And you could see it. You can literally watch Burleson hustle and make those plays in right field. Makes a huge difference for the team. He is 26, and he's developing into a heck of a hitter and a ball player overall. So Burleson will be due up 3rd. It's going to be Donovan and Wynn ahead of him. There's no doubt about Donovan's work ethic. And his stat sheet backs that up. 5 batting run value. It used to be way higher earlier this year, but it's coming back down to earth a little bit. Still a great launch angle. Squares the ball up. Doesn't strike out. That is what produces a high average. 297 batting average. And he's held that up very well. So here we go. Donovan at the plate. First pitch in there for strike 1. That one looked almost submarine-like from Heaney. It is 0-1. Donovan had a walk his first time up. Cardinals looking for their first hit. Second pitch was the curveball at the bottom of the zone. Great pitch from Heaney. It's strike 2. It is now 0-2 on Donovan. The 0-2 from Heaney to Donovan. He is outside with the sinker. 1-2. Heaney with a 4.33 ERA this season. 30 strikes thrown in this ballgame. So 30 out of 46. The 1-2 pitch popped up. That's going to be playable over at third base, actually, for Hayes. For out number 1. I thought that was going to get all the way out to left field, but it just hung in the air. So 1 out, nobody on. That's going to bring up Mason Wynn. Wynn is 0 for 1 in the game today. He grounded into a double play his first time up. He was a hard hit ball, but just right at where the fielder was playing up the middle. First pitch is low and in with the curveball, 1-0. Second time through the order for Andrew Heaney. We'll see if Wynn can pick it up better this time. The 1-0. Chopped over to short. IKF makes the play for out number 2. So Heaney looking to get through his 4th inning of the game without a hit allowed. It's going to be his 50th pitch of the game now. First one to Alec Burleson. At least in this 4th inning. Burleson is 0 for 1 in the game with a strikeout today. First pitch. Check swing, foul ball on a curveball right down the middle. It is 0-1. That looked like a pitch that Burleson could have crushed, but he did not want to chase and ended up check swinging, fouling it off anyway. The 0-1. He is low and in with the sinker. He chases that one about a foot inside. It is 0-2. So a couple bad decisions from Burleson. Put him behind in the count. And with 2 outs and nobody on in the 4th, the 0-2 pitch comes from Heaney to Burleson. Outside with the fastball, 1-2. Burleson, with his high batting average, is a threat to receive the first hit of the game for the Cardinals. Does have a .350 batting average on non-fastballs at the bottom of the zone. The 1-2 is outside with the slider, 2-2. So Burleson working his way back in this at-bat. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Low and away with the curveball. We went from 0-2 to 3-2 now on Alec Burleson, as Wilson Contreras waits on deck. With the bases empty in the 4th. Pirates lead 1-0. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Burleson. Fouled back, still 3-2, so we'll do it again. Burleson's OPS still above 800, sitting at 801. He is 5 for 20 with a full count this year. Another 3-2 pitch. Fouled away again. Good job by Burleson to stay alive. Keep battling. Burleson walks 22.2% of the time with a full count. Strikes out just under 26% of the time. So almost even there. The 3-2 from Heaney. Fouled away again. What an at-bat by Burleson. So this is getting Heaney's pitch count up around 60. Not quite there yet. Another 3-2 pitch to Alec Burleson. That one chopped, accidentally kept it fair. Easy play at first base, and we will go to the bottom of the 4th. It is still 1-0 with 0 hits for the Cardinals in Pittsburgh. Nick Gonzalez, O'Neill Cruz, and Ke'Bryan Hayes are due up. Gonzalez is a high average guy. Might have to type Nick. There we go. 816 OPS, positive hitter. It's crazy that he only has 1 batting run value with an 816 OPS. I guess it's because of that small sample. Just those 23 games prior to today. Just a 16% strikeout rate. Really nice launch angle. Really nice expected batting average. Hits the ball hard. Can't complain about anything, except maybe this low walk rate, but that doesn't change too much. Last year he had a 709, just a little bit below average. And it is because this walk rate is pulling everything down, along with the low exit velocity. So, average launch angle, average barrel, with the low strikeout rate. Okay. Yeah, if he can keep doing what he's doing right now, he'll be a really productive hitter. Definitely not ever in the power sense, but just as a high average guy, he can move runners from first to third, drive them in from second, a lot of base hits. Even if you never get that walk rate as high as you'd want it. All right, the game is back. Gonzalez is going to be up. So we'll see if Fedde can continue to put up zeros alongside Andrew Heaney, who has the no-hitter going so far. First pitch in there for a strike at 90 miles an hour with the cutter. It's 0-1 on Gonzalez. Fedde at 38 pitches in the game so far. The 0-1 pitch, fouled off, 0-2. Fedde only allowed hits in the first inning, so since those first 3 hitters reached, he hasn't allowed anything. Outside of that McCutcheon walk, the 0-2 pitch is upstairs with the sinker 1-2. Nobody on, nobody out in the bottom of the fourth. The 1-2 is outside now, 2-2 on Gonzalez. Cardinals still in that divisional hunt, but also holding on to a current playoff spot as the 2-2 pitch is driven out to right center field. That one's hit pretty hard, but Victor Scott makes a nice running grab up against the wall for out number 1. Scott was timing that one up, kind of jogging almost. It's still probably faster than I can run, but a really nice job by Scott to track that one down for out number 1. That might be an out above average. I would say it probably is. You're drifting away from him. But he makes that look easy. So with 1 out and nobody on, it's going to be O'Neal Cruz. First pitch to Cruz is low, 1-0. That was the sinker. Cruz is a guy who can hit a ball hard enough that doesn't matter who's in center field, he could definitely still get extra bases. He's also fast enough to make sure that happens. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Fedde to Cruz. Low and away with the changeup, 2-0. See if Fedde can work his way back in this count. The 2-0 pitch to Cruz is outside again. 3-0 now. Tried to work the cutter back in the outside corner. Did not get it back into the zone. Cruz puts the bat on his shoulder. The 3-0 pitch. Outside, ball 4. So Fedde with a 4-pitch walk. He did walk McCutcheon last inning. Now he walks Cruz in this inning. Looks like Jordan Walker is going to return on July 2nd. So that is great news for the Cardinals. He'll be ready for the Cubs. First pitch to Hayes, missed downstairs with the sinker. It's 1-0. 1 man on with 1 out. 1-0 count on Hayes. Fedde's 48th pitch of the ball game. Fouled back 1-1. It's going to be really interesting to see how they work Jordan Walker back into the lineup, because when you have Nootbaar healthy alongside him, and Burleson playing the way he is, there's only so many spots in the lineup to go around, and Gorman is going to be taking a lot of the DH, so who knows. Here's the 1-1 from Fedde to Hayes. Instead, he checks on Cruz. Still 1-1. So that's the first disengagement of Hayes at bat. Cardinals playing Hayes to pull a little bit, but they still have the second baseman a little bit over to try to cover some ground. The 1-1 pitch. Popped foul, 1-2. It's crazy that the Cardinals defense is so good that Sajacy feels like a downgrade as a middle infielder. Because we watched Edman for so long, we saw Colton Wong forever. You have Donovan over there who plays a great second base. Gorman's also, sometimes feels like a downgrade. The 1-2 chopped over to the right side. It's going to be flipped back to Fedde for out number 2, so that means that Cruz advanced to second with 2 away. So that will bring up Tommy Pham. So Fedde about halfway through his start today. He's thrown 50 pitches. Tommy Pham is 0 for 1 in the game so far. But he has Cruz on second with 2 outs. This is going to be an important at-bat. Try to prevent a run from scoring for the Pirates. That is the first disengagement. Fedde stepped off. First pitch to Tommy Pham. He is right down the middle with the cutter. It is 0-1. Pham has a career 489 RBIs, 129 stolen bases, 1,025 hits. Here's the 0-1 from Fedde to Pham. Chopped foul, 0-2. So Fedde looking to get the final out of the fourth. Keep his team in this game. 2 outs, Cruz on second. The 0-2 pitch to Pham. Right down the middle, fouled back again, still 0-2. So a little bit of fight from Pham here. Good piece of contact from him. Fedde did have a pretty rough first inning. He's settled in pretty nicely since then, although the occasional walk has occurred. Another 0-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. Just upstairs with the cutter. It is 1-2. The 1-2 to Pham is outside with the sinker, 2-2. So Fedde still just missing the zone. His pitches can't quite tail back into it. Maybe a little bit less movement than he's used to, due to a number of potential factors, but potentially the rain delay as well. Here's the 2-2 to Tommy Pham. Low and in with the cutter. It's popped up. The call is made by Sajaci, who makes the grab for out number 3. So we go to the 5th. It is still 1-0 Pirates. Cardinals looking for their first hit when the game returns. It's going to be Contreras, Arenado, and Gorman. So we already did a whole thing on Contreras. Let's look at Gorman. Gorman's been getting hot. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Cardinals get their first hit in this inning. I think Arenado could poke one out to right. Contreras could crush one. Gorman could go lefty-lefty. He's been pretty hot recently. But yeah, the walk rate really high. Good expected slug, good barrel rate. Comparing this to 2023, starting to look pretty similar. At least up here. You can see, I mean, if you saw the stats earlier, they right at the beginning of the year, it kind of looked like, let's see. I mean, he was always barreling the ball. But these were way lower, and he's starting to push back into the guy that we really were excited about back in 2023. The team leading 27 home run second baseman. But the strikeout rate's been pulling him down. Is it his career low now? Yeah. Because about 32% strikeout rate in 23, 28% in 2025. So he's pulling that number down. That's a huge difference. I'm a little bit concerned about Arenado. But obviously he's going to produce probably more home runs than he did last year. Still a really good defensive third baseman. This number doesn't really reflect it. He's had a couple strange plays where he tries to cut off Wynn, thinking he needs to do too much, but the glove is very steady. The outs above average should climb over the rest of the season like they normally do. And the game is back. So here we go. Wilson Contreras due up first. He is 0 for 1 so far today. Just got under one in his first at-bat. That was in the second inning. First pitch from Heaney to Contreras is low, but gets the call with the changeup. It's 0-1. So it can't be a great feeling for Contreras to be down 0-1 unexpectedly. Second pitch from Heaney to Contreras is low and away with the changeup, 1-1. So it is Contreras, Arenado, and Gorman, the 1-1. Ground ball. Easy play for Hayes at third. He'll make it stand up for out number 1. So Heaney still yet to allow a hit. That's going to bring up Nolan Arenado. I wonder if that's starting to get into his head as Arenado marks the halfway point in the game. There are 13 hitters ahead of him, 13 hitters after him. As the changeup misses inside, it is 1-0. Second pitch to Arenado. He is up and away, 2-0. Arenado has that platoon advantage. Just hitting today, he is the DH. Has 10 homers on the year, the 2-0 from Heaney. Pulled foul, 2-1. I mean, Heaney's pitch count is pretty high. You don't really expect him to try to finish a no-hitter today. But it's not crazy high. It's 64 midway through the 5th. As here is pitch 65. It is pulled foul once again. 2-2 on Arenado. That was a changeup at the bottom of the zone. Arenado had a fly out his last time up. Here's the 2-2 from Heaney. Driven out to right center field, but Reynolds drifts over and makes the catch for out number 2. That was more of just pure right field. I didn't get a good read off the bat, but good play by Reynolds. 2 outs, nobody on. Here comes Nolan Gorman. Gorman is 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Had a great at-bat his first time up. Worked a full count, but just couldn't keep it going. Heaney's been fantastic today, as here's the first pitch to Gorman. Inside, looped out to center field. Cruz on the run, but IKF drifts out and makes the grab, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still no hits for the Cardinals. It's 1-0 Pirates. Someone chat. Let me check. Nope. Just one of those spam messages. Unfortunate. All right. It's going to be Joey Bart, IKF, and Horowitz. I think I already looked at Bart. We'll look at IKF again. I think we looked at him between those first and second innings. But there's no bullpen action. It's the middle of the game. So best thing you can do is just work through the hitters. Very low strikeout rate. Also a low walk rate. He's doing what he's been doing. Just staying alive. Getting on base a decent amount. Pretty consistent between the 2 years. He's the same player. Actually has double-digit stolen bases in each of the last 3 seasons. So that's something to note about IKF. But yeah, very low on the hard hit rate and all of that. Just doesn't strike out, squares the ball up enough to become almost an average hitter. Definitely average for the catcher position. Although his outs above average are pretty bad. Dude. Where are the catching stats? Oh, there you go. He was pretty good as a catcher. Or wait, this is shortstop. I'm an idiot. My bad. Feel bad to everybody. I was thinking about Higashioka for some reason. Yeah, IKF, he was the Yankee shortstop before. Yeah, okay. My bad. I was thinking of him and Higashioka on the Yankees, but okay. Expected batting average, yeah. I mean, defense at shortstop can produce WAR on its own, and that's why he was pretty good in 2023. All right. The game is back. First pitch to Bart is fouled back. It is 0-1. Fedde on pitch number 57. Trying to continue to put up zeros and match Heaney. Keep the Cardinals in this game. The 0-1 pitch to Bart. Upstairs with the sinker, 1-1. The 1-1 to Bart. He's outside 2-1. And then I'm going to give you the next pitch. The 2-1. He is driven up the middle for a base hit. So Bart picks up a hit. The first hit for either side in a couple of innings. So a one-man on with nobody out in the fifth. And that's going to bring up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the former Yankee shortstop. Getting the nod at short today. IKF's OPS sits at 665 this season. Has a very low strikeout rate as a hitter. He squares around and lays a bunt down the third base line. Barehanded play by Gorman, but unable to be caught by Contreras. And there are runners on first and second with nobody out in the fifth. A bunt base hit for IKF. Might be ruled an error. I think it probably should be. But a good attempt by Nolan Gorman to grab it off the grass with his bare hand, make a solid throw to first, but Contreras just couldn't squeeze it. So 2 men on, nobody out. Here comes Spencer Horwitz, who already homered today. This is getting to be a very dangerous inning in the fifth. Erick Fedde is set. First pitch to Horwitz is outside 1-0. So the Cardinals without a hit, trying to stay in a game where they trail 1-0. And now there are 2 men on for the Pirates. The 1-0 pitch from Fedde is outside again with the sinker, 2-0. You really don't want to walk Horwitz here. So this is kind of the moment in the game where you really got to just put one in the zone and hope that your defense can stand behind you and make some good plays. 2 men on, nobody out. The 2-0 gets the call with the changeup below the zone. It's 2-1. That was one of those huge frames from Pedro Pajes behind the plate, giving his pitcher a chance. The 2-1 pitch from Fedde. Fouled back on the cutter outside. It's 2-2. That was a good pitch. In the first inning, Horwitz turned on a sinker right down the middle for a homer. Ended up traveling 408 feet to right center field. See if Fedde can avoid that this time around. Horwitz this season is 5 for 28 with runners in scoring position. 8 RBIs in these scenarios. The 2-2. Fouled back, still 2-2. A ground ball could make a huge difference here, but a strikeout could do the same. The Cardinals are playing Horwitz to pull. So JC in the gap. The 2-2 pitch from Fedde to Horwitz. Doesn't get the call on the sinker up and in. It is 3-2. So a full count on Horwitz, who already homered today, with Andrew McCutchen waiting on deck. 2 men on, nobody out in the fifth. The 3-2 pitch. Driven out to left center. Donovan can't get there. It's over his head and off the wall. Joey Bart is going to come around to score. And so is the runner from first base. That is IKF. And it is 3-0 Pirates in the fifth. Great game from Spencer Horwitz. Took the full count pitch, drove it over the head of Donovan in left. It was just a cutter low and away. He was putting the barrel on it. And an inside-out swing. Was able to drive in too. So with Horwitz on second and nobody out, here comes Andrew McCutchen. Pirates now lead 3-0. Swing and a miss on a sinker at the top of the zone. It's 0-1. th pitch of the game from Fedde. The 0-1 to McCutchen is inside with the cutter. 1-1. If you've seen the Cardinals team this season, You know the 3-run lead is definitely not enough to count them out, but you got to get your first hitter on base, at least the first hit, to feel good about anything. As a ground ball goes to short, Mason Wynn with the throw to third, and Gorman tags him out for out number 1. So McCutchen grounds into a fielder's choice. The Cardinals get the lead runner, and now with McCutchen on first and 1 out, it will be Bryan Reynolds. Good play by Wynn to go for the lead runner there. First pitch from Fedde to Reynolds. Driven up the middle for a base hit. So Scott will have to play that on a few hops. Throws it into Wynn at short. So Reynolds on first, McCutchen on second, with 1 out for Nick Gonzalez. Another cutter, low and away at 90 miles an hour. That pitch seems to be getting hit pretty hard from Fedde recently, especially against the lefties. So it might be something to keep in mind. Maybe throw it a little bit less often. Here is the first pitch to Gonzalez. It's driven the other way for a base hit. That one's going to get all the way to the wall. McCutchen comes around to score. And they will hold Reynolds at third. It is 4-0 Pirates. So Nick Gonzalez with an RBI double. And Fedde is having a terrible 5th inning. That one was a sinker low and away to the righty. Came back into the lower outside half of the zone. The barrel went out and got it. And poked it into the corner. So Pajes and Dusty Blake are going to have a quick meeting with Fedde. And Wilson Contreras will join them as well. Cool seeing Wilson Contreras get his head into the group as a former catcher. Although he might not be as good of a defensive catcher as Pajes regardless. 1 out, runners on second and third. Pirates lead 4-0 in the 5th. Fedde's now going to face O'Neal Cruz. This might be a moment where you really try to go for a strikeout. Cardinals have the infield in, which is a very tough task against Cruz. As Fedde misses outside with the changeup, it's 1-0. The 1-0 from Fedde to Cruz is low with the changeup again. It's 2-0. You wonder if the Cardinals have anyone getting ready in the bullpen here. You would probably need a long reliever with a deficit like this. Cardinals have the infield in. And time is called by Cruz. And the Cardinals are going to go ahead and intentionally walk O'Neal Cruz. That's going to put Ke'Bryan Hayes up to the plate with the bases loaded and 1 out. So a ground ball could give you 2 here. First pitch to Hayes with the bases loaded is low and away with the sweeper. It is 1-0. There is nowhere to put Hayes as the Pirates lead 4-0. A lot of pressure on the Cardinal infield here. The 1-0 pitch from Fedde. Right down the middle, driven to right center field for a base hit. Victor Scott plays that one off the ground. He's just going to throw it to second. 2 runs come around to score. And the Pirates lead 6-0. So Ke'Bryan Hayes delivers in a high pressure situation. And the Pirates are pouring it on in the 5th. That one was 91. Outside part of the plate, another cutter. This cutter has got to be a very low value pitch at this point. We'll see if anyone ever takes a look at that. Here's the pitch to Pham. Low and in, pulled. Base hit through the hole on the left side. Another run comes in to score. That's Cruz. It is 7-0. So Pham gets in on the action. So does Hayes, Cruz, Gonzalez, Reynolds, McCutcheon, and Horwitz. Everybody has reached. Except for Joey Bart. Well, no, everybody has reached. Yeah. Only Cruz doesn't have a hit today, but he has 2 walks. So Fedde having a nightmare start once again. Makes you question whether McGreevy might be in contention for this spot at some point, but the pitch to Bart catches the upper outside corner with the sinker. It's 0-1. So what was a close game is now a 7-0 lead for the Pirates. The 0-1 pitch to Joey Bart. Swing and a miss on a cutter at the top of the zone. It's 0-2. Another question that can form here is why didn't Ollie maybe pull him a little earlier in this inning before it got out of control, but it's a really tough decision to make. The 0-2 to Bart. He's upstairs with the cutter once again. It's 1-2. One thing might be that he just throws strikes better with the cutter, so Pajas has to call it in order to get him in the zone in these spots. I have no idea. The 1-2 to Bart. Sweeper, low and away, ground ball to third. Arenado goes to second for 1. Sajacy with the turn, gets Bart, and it's a double play to end the 5th. But the damage has been done. The Pirates have 6 runs in the 5th. They lead 7-0 on 10 hits in the game. So that is unfortunate. Sajacy, Pajas, and Scott are due up. A 7-run deficit changes a lot of things, especially in the approach. Heaney still isn't allowed a hit. I'm going to go back to Heaney. See what the Cardinals could try to do here. I mean, it's not a very high walk rate, so the one thing you can't do is just keep trying to foul off pitches and draw walks because he continues to find the zone. Obviously, you could try that, but it's probably not going to produce the rally you're looking for. This looks like a guy you can rally on by just hitting a lot of hard-to-hit baseballs. Like, find the holes, hit a couple of homers maybe. But the homers are not as likely against him either. It's just a lot of singles. So I don't know. The part of the order that you'd want up starts with Victor Scott. So he's due up third this inning. Sajacy can hit singles as well. Maybe the Cardinals could have Sajacy, Pajas, Scott all hit singles. And then you'd have the top of the order who could produce the rally that could produce this comeback. Or you could just try to chip into the lead. Just manufacture runs. At least get one back here in this inning, get a hit, start things off. Obviously, first things first, you need to get a hit. It's been 5 innings, no hits for the Cardinals today. All right. Cardinals did have a 7-run comeback at Cincinnati in 2019. This would have to be the equivalent of that. I remember that game. But here we go. It's Thomas Sajacy facing Andrew Heaney. Heaney's at 67 pitches this game. 0 hits allowed. The first pitch is in there for strike 1 with the fastball, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch to Sajacy is low with the changeup, 1-1. Sajacy, obviously, former minor league player. Might be back down there later this year. Acquired in that Montgomery trade with the Texas Rangers. Here's the 70th pitch of the day for Heaney. The 1-1 is inside, 2-1 on Sajasi. The 2-1 pitch. Fouled off his foot. It is 2-2. Cardinals game has been tagged with that no-hitter tag at the top of the screen. That's something to watch out for. That means people are getting notifications about this. The 2-2 pitch from Heaney to Sajasi. Outside 3-2. That was a fastball. Obviously, the Pirates are going to manage this to win the ball game. The 3-2. Swing and a miss on a changeup up and away. Down goes Sajasi for out number 1. But yeah, as I was saying, the Pirates are obviously going to manage this to try to win. So even if it's a no-hitter, if his pitch count gets too high, they're going to want to save him for his next start. And if he starts walking a lot of hitters, they will probably go ahead and pull him even if there are no hits allowed, as if you put a lot of base runners on, eventually that could get very scary. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Heaney to Pages. Missed inside with the changeup, 2-0. That being said, when you have a 7-run cushion, sometimes the manager will give you a little bit of a longer leash to try to actually go for it with the no-hitter. The 2-0. Gets the call, upper outside corner with the sinker. It's 2-1. Pages is 0 for 1 in the game with a strikeout back in the third. The 2-1 pitch to Pages. Fouled off the other way again with the sinker. It's 2-2. I believe Heaney has faced the minimum so far. Yeah, 1 walk. That's all he has. So the double play erased it. It was a walk to start the game. The 2-2 pitch to Pages is a swing and a miss on a fastball way above the zone. Down goes Pages. And here comes Victor Scott the second. Getting your second at bat with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 6th. Has to be a really strange feeling for Victor Scott, as that means the opposing pitcher has faced the minimum through two times through the order. The first pitch is in there for a strike with the curveball, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Heaney to Scott. Pulled over to first, but foul. It is 0-2. So Heaney looking for another 1-2-3 inning here. The 0-2 pitch to Scott. He is low and away with the changeup, 1-2. The 1-2 to Scott. He is outside, 2-2. Between innings, I think I'm going to look at the Cardinals bullpen, see who they might go to after this. I'm also going to look at Erick Fedde's cutters statistics, as I am very curious about that. The 2-2 to Scott is fouled off, still 2-2. Pretty good at bat from Scott here, as Heaney tries to stand up with this no-hitter. Try to get it through 2 times through the order. I remember the Tigers let Spencer Turnbull go probably 120 pitches. You wonder what is on the table for Heaney today. The 2-2 pitch from Heaney to Victor Scott. Heaney delivers. And it's fouled off. So it's still 2-2. Good at bat from Scott. Now that pitch count is getting a little bit high for a game like this from Heaney. Could have a discussion in the 7th or 8th. The 2-2 to Scott. Missed downstairs with the changeup. It's 3-2. Brendan Donovan is waiting on deck. The 3-2 pitch now from Heaney to Victor Scott II. Driven up the middle to left field. That's going to be a base hit. Tommy Pham has to play that on a hop, and that is the first hit of the day for the Cardinals, so we will not be getting no hit today. That'll erase the no-hit bid for Heaney. Fastball right at the top of the zone. Good swing from Victor Scott. Inside-out approach. No chance for any fielder to get to that. Pham had to range over and throw it in. First pitch to Donovan. Pulled foul, 0-1. If the Cardinals want to get back in this ball game, you're going to want Donovan to reach base as well here. Try to pass the torch. Try to scratch a couple of runs across in this 6th. The 0-1 from Heaney to Donovan. He is in there with the curveball, 0-2. That was a good pitch from Heaney. Cardinals, after this ball game, will have nobody in the order today who has an OPS outside of the 700s or 600s. As here's the 0-2 from Heaney. In there for strike 3 with the sinker, and down goes Donovan. So Heaney closes out 6 innings with just 1 hit allowed. It is 7-0 Pirates. All right, so now let's go ahead and do that check. We'll start with the cutter run value for Fedde, because that pitch has been getting crushed. And that's what I've noticed, so I wonder whether it's a good pitch, and I'm only noticing when it's getting hit hard, but he's using it a lot, or whether it's just a terrible pitch that he needs to stop using. So that should be information we have. Let's see. Run values. Cutter, -1. Sweeper, -3. So these are similar releases. Last year, the sweeper was great, and so was the cutter. This year, the cutter is negative, and the sweeper is even worse. So those leftward moving pitches are hurting him. Sinker's been positive both seasons. So it's a little bit of advice there for Fedde to potentially use more of the sinker. Seems like hitters don't like it when it gets in on the hands. They like it better when you're moving it out toward the barrel. And that is what he was doing. So there's that. And then the Cardinal bullpen. I thought I already had that loaded, but okay, there we go. It's going to load in a moment, I think. Okay, I just have to scroll. There we go. All right. It's probably going to be Swanson, as we had O'Brien, King, Romero pitch yesterday. Probably don't want Matz out there, so watch out for Matt Swanson later today. But the Cardinals are going to go with John King. Strike 1 on IKF. Ground ball foul, 0-2 now from King to IKF. John King has a 4.50 ERA. .57 whip. The 0-2 pitch to IKF is outside with the curveball, 1-2. The 1-2 is upstairs 2-2. So IKF is back in the count against King. That means Fedde is done after 5 innings, 7 earned runs. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Pulled foul, still 2-2. The 2-2 missed way upstairs with the fastball. It is a full count on IKF. 7-0 Pirates in the 6th. The 3-2 pitch from King to IKF is fouled off, still 3-2. John King able to keep the ground ball rate very high this year. Barrel rate very low. The 3-2. Chopped over the middle. Mason Wynn has to range over and make a strong throw to first for out number 1. Good play by Wynn there. That will bring up Spencer Horwitz. Pitch misses low with the slider to Horwitz, so John King is behind in the count. Horwitz is having a great game so far today. He's 2 for 3, has a homer and a huge double. The 1-0 is going to get the call with the sinker below the zone, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from King to Horwitz. Swing and a miss on a sinker up and in. It's 1-2. The only Pirate who has not recorded a hit in this one is O'Neal Cruz, who has 2 walks. It's not a good sign for the Cardinals here. The 1-2 pitch to Horwitz is low and away with the slider, 2-2. The 2-2 from King. Driven out to left, but caught by Gorman. So a hard hit ball to the left-hand side, stabbed by Gorman, and there are 2 down with nobody on. So that brings up Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen is 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk today. First pitch in there for a strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 is a swing and a miss on a curveball below the zone. It's 0-2. McCutchen still an above-average hitter, despite a very long career. The 0-2 pitch is in the dirt with the curveball, 1-2. The 1-2 to McCutchen, just low with the changeup, 2-2. Two pitch to McCutchen is fouled off, still 2-2. John King already at his 18th pitch of the game. This will be his 19th, and he only has 2 outs recorded, no damage done. The 2-2 gets the call on the curveball at the bottom of the zone. Down goes McCutchen, and King has a 1-2-3 6th inning. despite throwing 19 pitches. It's going to be Wynn, Burleson, and Contreras. All right. Heaney's thrown 89 pitches. You wonder if they're going to go to the pen already or if he'll get another inning. Probably going to stay in the game. That's what I'm expecting. It looks like he's going to stay in and face Wynn unless something updates very soon. Yep, Heaney's still in the game. Heaney with a 7-0 lead in the ball game, facing Mason Wynn, Burleson, and Contreras, the heart of the Cardinal order. Cardinals trail 7-0. First pitch to Wynn. In there for strike one with a sinker. It is 0-1. Perfectly spotted up by Heaney, low and away there. The 0-1 pitch is grounded through the right field side. Reynolds will grab that one for a base hit. So Mason Wynn on with the second hit of the day for the Cardinals, with nobody out. First pitch from Heaney to Burleson in the 7th. He is in there, up and in with the sinker. It's 0-1. Burleson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out in this one. With Wynn on first, the Cardinals are looking to get some of these runs back and potentially produce a comeback. As Heaney takes all the laces out of his shoes, and he's going to tie new laces into his shoes during the game. I have never seen this, and I think this is insane. The Detroit Red Wings signed Patrick Kane to a 1-year extension. I'm sure all the Pittsburgh fans would love to hear that right now. So Kane will be back in Detroit for 1 more year. Hopefully they can get to the playoffs in the NHL. That is your update while Heaney ties his shoes. He is finally done tying his shoes. And that means he's going to pitch to Burleson once again. So Mason Wynn on first. Nobody on, sorry. Mason Wynn on first, nobody out. It is the top of the 7th. 7-0 Pirates. 93rd pitch of the game for Heaney. The first to Burleson. Sorry, the second to Burleson. Missed outside with the curveball. It's 1-1. Even I Thought it was the first pitch to Burleson after all of that delay. At least my subconscious did. Here is the 1-1 from Heaney to Burleson with Wynn on first. Ground ball right hand side. Turn is made. It's going to be a double play. So Gonzalez to IKF for the double play. And that's going to bring up Wilson Contreras. With 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th, Heaney continues to pitch a gem. Just one man over the minimum with Contreras at the plate. First pitch to Contreras in the 7th. Driven out to left field for a base hit. So the Cardinals had a few hits stacked up for the 6th and 7th innings. As Contreras gets back to first base, he was thinking about trying to extend that to a double. Oh, Contreras saying they might review that one. Oh, maybe he's joking, like telling them to review it. Yeah, because he was actually just back. All right, so that base hit will end the day for Andrew Heaney. It looks like he's going to get a heck of an ovation. Six and 2/3 of scoreless baseball from Andrew Heaney. Great game from him. I'm sure he's getting a heck of an ovation in Pittsburgh. Standing ovation from the Pittsburgh fans. You can see it. Great game from Heaney. So the Cardinals finally get to the bullpen. They didn't show us who's coming, so I'll have to just kind of figure that out. It's going to be someone pitching against Arenado and Gorman. So I'm sure it's a righty. Seven-run lead. Looks like, Ledzinski pitched yesterday. Santana got suspended. Why is he still on the roster? Maybe a 1-game suspension? Whatever, okay. So it's either Shugart, whatever you want to say, Matson, or Ashcraft here. But Ashcraft and, all of these guys pitched just 2 days ago. So I'm really thinking it's Matson or Shugart here, and I think Shugart struggled against Arenado in the past, so Matson. Does this logic hold up? Nope, they're going with Shugart. So there you go. It was one of those two, and they went with him. He's an above-average pitcher. Soft contact. But it can get into the air and also has a very high walk rate. So I don't understand that, actually. That's a really bad decision. High walk rate right now is not the way to go. When you have a big lead, why would you want someone who's going to put extra base runners on? Then one hit can put the other team back in the game. So I hope that's what happens here. A couple of walks. It's going to be Shugart against Arenado and Gorman. So like an Arenado walk into a Gorman homer could put the Cardinals right back in the game. So watch out for that. I actually think that's very possible here. Gives a 3.18 ERA on the season. See if Arenado can work a nice at-bat in this one. Shugart versus Arenado, the first pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Playable at short, they flip it to Gonzalez for out number 3. So Shugart only has to throw one pitch. Arenado lets him have the ground ball, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. It is 7-0 Pirates. That is not what we were looking for. It's supposed to take a long at-bat right there. Just going to bring up Brian Reynolds. I'll leave you guy with Reynolds right now. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm sure the game is back by now. Nope. Wow. All right, John King, he's thrown 20 pitches. Reynolds is better, I think, on the left-handed side, so you probably leave King in for one more. Maybe 3 more. We'll get to see now. Like 1 more hitter is what I'm talking about. Like 1 or 3 more hitters. Okay, first pitch is fouled off by Reynolds. It's 0-1. I think it would be okay to leave King in to face Reynolds, Gonzalez, Cruz, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just here to face Reynolds. As the 0-1 pitch misses low at the changeup, 1-1. The 1-1. He's popped up. Playable in right. Nope, it's going to get into the seats. Just out of reach of Burleson. So it's 1-2. With nobody on, nobody out in the 7th. The Pirates lead 7-0. It would have to be a heck of a comeback at this point for the Cardinals to even think about it. But you're also thinking about bullpen arms. If you can only use King and a long reliever, that would be pretty nice. Here's the 1-2 to Reynolds. Swing and a miss on a slider at the bottom of the zone. Down goes Reynolds, and there's 1 out with nobody on, and that brings up Nick Gonzalez in the 7th. So it looks like King will stay in the game. As here's an inside out foul ball on a changeup below the zone. It's 0-1. Looks like the Cardinals just had 1 bad inning. Today it was Erick Fedde's 5th inning, where the Pirates scored 6. Here's the 0-1 from King to Gonzalez. It is outside with the curveball, 1-1. Goes out and smokes this outside changeup, but didn't hit it hard enough. And it is caught in center field by Victor Scott for out number 2. So that will bring up O'Neal Cruz. King having a pretty good outing so far. I believe it's been 5 up, 5 down. But he's averaging over 5 pitches per hitter. So really unorthodox game from John King so far. First pitch to Cruz is inside, 1-0. The 1-0 sinker just caught the bottom of the zone. It's 1-1. Cruz is 0 for 1 with a couple of walks, the only Pirate without a hit in the game. As the slider misses low, it's 2-1. Cruz did have an intentional walk earlier to try to set up a potential double play ball for Ke'Bryan Hayes, but Hayes ended up getting a hit. The 2-1 pitch is grounded up the middle and through. So JC did not have that one played very well. And it's a base hit for Cruz. So now every Pirate has a hit, and that'll bring up Ke'Bryan Hayes in the 7th. And that is it for John King. So he did just face the 3 hitters. That makes perfect sense. I completely agree. Great job by Marmol there. Good management. It's going to bring in a righty here. I'm going to have to assume it's going to be Matt Swanson. Let's go ahead and take a look. at who is available. Swanson looks like the guy for sure. So could be Leahy. I would say that's unlikely. We'll have Swanson's numbers ready. If it's Leahy, we can obviously just pull those up. Swanson's been good. 4 pitching run value, really low expected batting average and expected ERA, soft contact into the ground, but does have a pretty high walk rate. And can get hit pretty hard as well. Alrighty. Swanson is the one the Cardinals have chosen to go to. Swanson facing Ke'Bryan Hayes with Cruz on first in the 7th. The first pitch to Hayes is low with the sweeper, 1-0. So with a 7-run lead, this is something the Pirates definitely expect to win. But Swanson could probably get through these last 2 innings without allowing anything if he continues his current trend. The 1-0 pitch is in there with the sinker at 97, 1-1. If you pitch well at the big league level, you can earn yourself a spot in the bullpen permanently and some playoff action. And I think Swanson might be able to do that. If he continues pitching well, the sinker's fouled off, it's 1-2. Or maybe a starting rotation spot with how many innings he can eat. But that might be getting a little bit ahead of myself with that. 2 outs. Cruz on first. Here's the 1-2 to Hayes. Way outside with the cutter, 2-2. Yeah, the Cardinals do have a pretty good history of Matts that they've had on their team. You know, Matt Adams had the big homer against Kershaw. You have Matt Holliday, Matt Carpenter, a couple of huge players in those early 2010s runs. Now here's Matt Swanson trying to help out the team here. 2 outs, 2-2 count. The pitch to Ke'Bryan Hayes. Low and away, it's 3-2. Hayes has 2 homers on the year, a 604 OPS, the average at 188, with 2 strikes. Doesn't have a 2-strike homer all year. The 3-2, right down the middle, grounded up the middle, easy play for Win. He'll step on the bag for the final out. So we'll go to the 8th. It is still 7-0 Pirates. So here comes Gorman. All right, Nolan Gorman will be hitting first here in the 8th. Shugart still on the mound. Gets the strike call with the cutter outside. It's 0-1. This is a guy you can work the count against, and that's definitely the approach I suggest. Try to reach base here with a 7-run deficit. As Gorman chops at that one and misses, it's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch from Shugart to Gorman. Pulled foul. The fastball inside. It's still 0-2. Gorman is 0 for 2 so far with a strikeout and a pop out. As the Cardinals try to get something going here. The 0-2 pitch. Pulled out to right field, but playable and caught by Reynolds for out number 1. So a hard hit ball for Gorman goes unrewarded, and that'll bring up Thomas Saggese. First pitch missed downstairs with the cutter. It is 1-0 on Saggese. The 1-0 pitch from Shugart to Saggese is inside 2-0. So 1 out, nobody on, 2-0 count on Saggese. See if he can continue to work this count and start stacking up some base runners. In this 8th inning, it is 7-0 Pirates. The 2-0 pitch, up and in, 3-0 now on Thomas Saggese. The 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. It's 3-1. Popped up. Playable and right once again. Reynolds is there for out number 2. Saggese a little bit frustrated. I would be as well. Didn't need to chase that pitch. Thought he got a pitch to hit, but didn't get the right part of that pitch. Ended up getting under it. And with 2 outs and nobody on, here comes Pedro Pajes. Shugart looking to go an inning and a third of scoreless baseball for the Pirates here. First pitch is low and away with the sinker. It is 1-0. Paul Skeens watching on. Obviously the superstar pitcher for the Pirates. Here is the 1-0 to Pajes in the dirt, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch is popped up. Behind the plate, Bart is there and makes the grab. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still 7-0 Pirates. Skeens will face Palante in tomorrow's game. Look out for that. Cardinals are going to need to steal tomorrow's game against Skeens if they want to win this series. That's not ideal. All right. Not Alex fan. All right, so Fam, Bart, IKF. I think these are all just righties. So you just leave Swanson in the game, try to get through this 8th. Yeah, I'll leave Swanson up. He's been good. All right. Let's see if Swanson can get us through the 8th. And if the Cardinal offense can perform a miracle in the 9th or whatever. Wow, a strike up and in against Pham. Gets the call that time. It's 0-1. Tommy Pham is 1 for 3 in the game today. His hit came in that big 5th inning as he pops one up. Playable at second base for Sajasi, who makes the grab for out number 1. So Swanson's been really efficient as a relief pitcher this season. And in the game today, he's thrown 9 pitches, 2 outs recorded. As here's the first pitch from Swanson to Joey Bart. Bart, the catcher for the Pirates today. He is 1 for 3. First pitch, outside with the sweeper, 1-0. Cardinals have only struck out 2 Pirates in the game today. That was McCutcheon and Reynolds. Here are the 1-0 pitch catches the bottom of the zone. It is 1-1. The 1-1 now from Swanson to Bart. He's in there with the sinker at the top of the zone, 1-2. So Swanson ahead of Bart, trying to put up a really nice performance to end the night for the Cardinals here. Maybe earn some more high leverage opportunities. The 2-2 catches the zone right down the middle with the sinker. That is strike 3. Down goes Bart. And that's going to bring up IKF at the bottom of the Pirates' order for potentially the final out of the 8th. First pitch from Swanson is driven out to right field, but foul. 0-1. The 0-1 from Swanson to IKF is fouled back. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 from Swanson to IKF. Swing and a miss on a sweeper low and away. Down goes IKF. We go to the 9th. It is 7-0 Pirates. It's going to be Victor Scott. And then the top of the order, Garrett Hampson did come in the game for the Cardinals. So did Fermin and Pozo. So Wynn, Burleson, and Contreras are going to get the inning off. So Scott and Donovan, who have both reached base today with a chance to reach again. And then Hampson, Fermin, and Pozo. Before Arenado Gorman. So, I mean, this could work as far as walk rates go. Just draw a bunch of walks, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have 6 being Arenado, and then Gorman would be 7. So if every single player reaches base here in this inning, you could get the lead, or I mean, you could tie the game with a Gorman homer. So just draw walks, keep working counts. I don't know if it'll still be Shugart. If it is, that's a great approach, and I'll let you know if it's anyone else. First pitch is in there on Victor Scott. Shugart did stay in the game. He is pitching to Scott here with nobody on, nobody out in the 9th. Swing and a miss on a sweeper. It is 0-2. It's the 9th inning. You got to get 6 base runners on base. So that starts with maybe a walk or a base hit here from Scott. Let's see if he can do it. The 0-2 is popped up. Playable in right for Reynolds, but in center for Cruz. Cruz will make the call and the catch for out number 1. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Brendan Donovan at the top of the Cardinal order. But they're going to pinch hit Jose Fermin for Brendan Donovan. So they got that wrong on this sheet. They said he was pinch hitting for Burleson. That didn't happen. So Fermin's in the game for Donovan. The 1-0 pitch from Shugart to Fermin is in there with the sweeper, 1-1. The 1-1 is fouled back, 1-2. I believe Fermin is 2 for 2 in the season with a 1 average and a 2 OPS, because that's all he's done. The 1-2 pitch, low and away with the sweeper, 2-2. So we'll see if Fermin can find a way on base again, keep that crazy OPS and average. A walk would bring his OPS down by a big margin. The 2-2 is outside with the sweeper, 3-2 on Fermin. The 3-2 pitch to Fermin is smoked up the middle off the glove of IKF, and that's a base hit. Fermin is going to stay on first. That's the third hit of the year for Fermin. All of them are just singles, looking just like that. Fermin continues to rake at the big league level. The 2-dot OPS, despite the very, very small sample. So 1 man on for Garrett Hampson. First pitch to Hampson is in there for a strike. 0-1. Double play would end the game. It could get more exciting if Hampson can reach and the Cardinals can start a rally. The 0-1 is in there with a sweeper at the bottom of the zone. It's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch to Hampson caught the outside corner with the fastball, and that is strike 3. So 2 down, 1 man on. In the 9th, the game is on the line. The Pirates lead 7-0, and the batter will be Alec Burleson. I wonder if... I think Burleson was probably still playing the outfield last inning. That's why all these pinch hitters are wrong on the stat sheet, as Burleson hits one high in the air to right field. Way back and foul. 0-1. Burleson is 0 for 3 in the game today. Looking to break that with a hit here. Game is on the line. The 0-1 pitch from Shugart to Burleson. Chopped over to second base. Gonzalez is there, and they make the play. The Pirates win this one 7-0. Behind a huge 5th inning and a great performance by Andrew Heaney. He started the game with 5 no-hit innings against the Cardinals. And the Cardinals couldn't get anything going after that with the 6-run inning for the Pirates. Looking to bounce back later in this series. See you guys soon. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for listening.